Wedding season is officially over for me. I went to my last wedding last weekend, but we have wedding drama in today's video, so it's not fully over yet. First up, my mother keeps trying to ruin my wedding. Why, Mom?
Why, God, why?
Why would you want to ruin their wedding? This story came July 18th. 2025. I, 27 female, and my fiance, 27 female, are getting married in November and have been planning our wedding. It's been mostly smooth sailing since the big announcement, other than my mother being rude and dismissive of my partner. They don't know each other well since my mom either ignores her or is very short. Not long after the announcement, my mom called me to ask if I was taking that woman's name. But outside of that, there hadn't been much trouble until my grandma told her we were having the cake testing. My grandma is having our wedding at her house and agreed to help pay for the cake, so she came to the testing with us. That is so cute. According to Grandma, my mom said, "Oh, they are actually getting married?" My grandma then explained that she pointed out how strange it was for my mom to not be involved in my life or relationship, and she felt like my mom would be more included in wedding planning if she showed interest. I knew instantly that this would set my mother off. Later that night, I got a call from my mom where she screamed at me, telling me my fiance has to be a criminal to be interested in me. So sweet, Mom. That our wedding was shady because it's non-traditional and that my fiance changed me as a person. She said I have grown hateful ever since I moved out of her house. For context, I lived at home for many years because my dad had terminal cancer. After this screaming rant where my fiance was getting more and more upset beside me, my mom let me know that my grandma decided she didn't want the wedding at her house, but that I shouldn't worry because she would fix everything for me. And after talking to Grandma, it was revealed that my mother called her and gave her a list of reasons not to have my wedding. My grandma is easily swayed by my mother, so she agreed at the time. Grandma, no! I called my mom back, upset. I think that was when she realized that she kind of messed up. She intended to get my wedding canceled so that she could get a better venue and be the hero and pay for everything. But my grandma's house has emotional significance to me. Luckily, after talking to my grandma again, she realized my mom's manipulation and then changed her mind. I was crushed for days after, not only about my mom trying to use her typical narcissistic manipulations to change my wedding, but also how my grandma was about canceling on me. Truthfully, it's like pulling teeth to get any excitement or interest from my family about my upcoming marriage. My mom's second attempt at ruining not only my wedding, but my relationship happened the other day. She called me to chat. I was very short with her because I am still upset. During the call, she asked if my fiance was in the room, and after I said yes, she told me I was probably pregnant. You can see how that would cause tension. Luckily, my fiance knows my mom's behavior and doesn't believe a word she says, but I was left reeling that my mom would try to drop a seed of doubt between my relationship. My sister called me later that day and told me that my mother is telling the whole family that I'm pregnant. I'm tired and we still have 4.5 months to go until the wedding. November! It would be this month. So that means I won't know what happens come the wedding day? Maybe it got canceled before it even happens. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's check out the top comment from OOP. No. Oh my God. Okay, the top comment actually says OOP's fiance made an appearance in the comments. Okay, so fiance wrote, "Fiance here, we have discussed cutting her off after the wedding. We just didn't expect her to start imploding the wedding after she realized it was truly happening. And I don't feel like I need protection. OP is trying her best to keep her mom at bay and for us to have the wedding of our dreams. And as long as my mother-in-law doesn't screw everything up, it will be. I want to be moral support for her, and my family will gladly kick her mom's if she tries anything the day of." We rarely hear from people in the story. How exciting. All right, we do have an update that came in October of 2025, October 16th. Nearly 3 months later. Is the wedding happening? Is mom going? Let's find out. So a lot of things have been going on lately, and now we are a month away from our wedding. Since the first time I posted, things have calmed down a lot and everything seemed to be smooth sailing outside a few comments from my mother. It started off with her asking me to move back in with her temporarily, which I turned down. Then it turned into her talking about getting a new house and selling the one she lives in currently to buy something smaller, where it could just be her, my sister, and I. Why is she acting like you're not trying to start a life with somebody right now? Then on my birthday, she kept commenting that things were about to go back to normal and soon everything will be okay again. That paired with her bringing up my ex-relationships and asking if I talked to any of them in front of my fiance was putting me in a pretty bad mood. Yesterday morning, my fiance and I decided to head to the courthouse bright and early to apply for our marriage license since we had the morning free before we had to go to work. While there, we started talking and making plans. So, I am thrilled to announce that yesterday evening, my wife and I eloped at a Red Robin. Oh, I just know. Mom is going to raise hell on earth when she finds this out. Everything has been turned in and made official, and you are now hearing from a married woman who has one heck of a celebratory party planned a month from now. Also, no one outside of my sister, who was a witness, and a few close friends that I trust know. So if my mother tries to object or mess up the ceremony, well, tough. Can't stop a marriage when someone is already married. Man, I really hope you come back and update us on how mom handles the news. Honestly, you don't even have to tell her though. You can let her believe that the wedding is in fact the wedding. You know? Next up, am I the a-hole for telling a friend I can't come to her wedding? This story came September 27th, 2022. She is planning a color-themed wedding and wants all of her guests to wear white. Oh, my husband likes black and doesn't even own a white shirt. I don't have a white dress or shoes. I had to tell her that if she does this, we won't be able to attend. We are on fixed incomes and can't afford to buy new clothing and shoes for somebody else's wedding. Her mother is also against her plan too. She thinks it's unfair to require a particular color unless a person is in the wedding party. My friend just snaps that, quote, "You have a year to save up," and thinks that I'm being a bad friend. I've called men's rental shops and we can't find a white suit for rent for less than $75. I'm sure I'll need as much money for my dress and shoes, and that is on top of the shower and wedding presents. I don't think I'm the a-hole for RSVPing with regrets when it's time. What do y'all think? Edit. For all of you who think I'm fishing... I just spit everywhere. Speaking of fishing... For all of you who think I am fishing for an excuse not to go, that is not true at all. We are on disability and income is a big issue for us. We are still going to send a nice wedding and shower gift, and that is going to stretch us too, because one place setting of her china and crystal is $150 a pop. That is not pop that I want to be drinking. This is not something we just don't want to do. Whenever I'm asked to be somebody's bridesmaid, I have to regretfully decline too. I just can't afford a dress, shoes, hair, makeup, manicure, a share of the shower and bachelorette costs, and gifts. I was upset when I heard about this because I knew that we would have to decline. We already went to her engagement party and bought a gift for that. There are limits to what we can afford. Believe me, we are disappointed too. I already don't think you're an a-hole. That, like, an a-hole would be if, like, you were rude and just didn't want to go. You have every right to not be able to go to that. And the fact that you are struggling financially so much and you're still getting them a gift? Oh, that is so sweet. No, I don't think you're an a-hole. I totally understand. And some people could say, like, $75, that's nothing. No, it's not nothing. What a privilege it is if $75 is nothing to you, but to some people, that is grocery money. That is food on the table for a day or two with the grocery prices these days. Oh, I'm just thinking, like, if I was in that position, some thrift stores, I swear you can find like old wedding dresses, white dresses at thrift stores, maybe like $10 if you could. I think it's men's suit that would be like the big problem. I don't think you're gonna, like that, to find that at a thrift store would be really difficult. Anyways, we have an update, so let's see what ended up happening. The update came 3 years later, June 26th, 2025. My friend got engaged and started planning her wedding. She was in her 30s and it was not her first wedding. Before everybody squeals, I do not think it's wrong for a repeat bride to have a big formal wedding. That is not the issue. What I do feel was that some of her expectations were unreasonable given her age and the ages and life circumstances of her friends. She got pissed at me right from the start. I declined being a bridesmaid because I'm on disability and I didn't think I could afford the dress, a share of the shower, and the bachelorette party, plus shower and wedding gifts. I was also afraid my disability would inconvenience her because I have chronic pain and I never know how I'm going to feel from one day to the next. It makes trying to plan anything a pain in the ass. There was a high chance that I would let her down on helping with the wedding work and going to appointments. Let me just say, as someone who has stood in about 5+ weddings in the last year and a half, 2 years, the cost of being in a wedding party is so much money. So much money. It really is. I fully understand if someone cannot afford that. Wedding culture, out of control these days. All right? Crazy. I thought she would understand, but she was majorly pissed. She said I had a year to save up for my wedding attire. I have an opinion on that, but keep it to myself, and I just apologized for disappointing her. She wanted a destination bachelorette party. The bridesmaids and her friends are all married with kids. I don't think it was reasonable to expect us to head off for a week at Myrtle Beach. A weekend? Sure, but not an entire week. The expenses was another no-go for me. I did what I could to support her. We attended her engagement party and I brought a gift, which wasn't cheap. Read on. She registered for china, crystal, and all the works. I know that's not a faux pas, but she had a full set from her first wedding. She just wanted new stuff. This is where I admit that I might be the a-hole. I feel that asking her friends for such pricey gifts for the second wedding was unfair. Okay, now on for the real big deal. 6 months from the wedding, she decided to ask her guests to dress in the all-white formal attire. I told her if she did that, we would not be able to come. I looked at consignment stores for an evening gown and the only all-white long dresses were wedding gowns. Her mom and sister tried to talk her out of this. Her mom thought, and I agree, that requiring a particular color isn't a fair ask unless the person is in the wedding party. My husband said he would just stay home and let me go. I sew and making a simple long dress wouldn't bust our budget. Okay. Great! My friend, the bride, told me I was a crappy friend, not to bother, and ended our friendship. I'm still friends with her mother and sister. Her mother was mortified about this and apologized. Of course, it's not their fault. Her sister told me her wedding photos looked like disembodied heads floating in a white sea. I don't have issues with her wedding and her rules, but brides should be prepared to get declined if her rules result in impractical expenses to her guests. She ended our entire friendship over it. All the years meant nothing against one day of that. That is a shame. And that is why I say wedding culture is out of control. Honestly, it's like, since when did weddings become not about just celebrating the love between the two people? It's crazy what goes into a wedding. The numbers, everything, people lose friendships over. What? Insane. Next up, am I the a-hole for removing my fiance's friends from the wedding party after they confronted me about my family's gifts? My girlfriend slash fiance, 32 female, and I, 33 male, have been together for 4 years. We met through common friends, and after a while of casually hanging out, we began dating and are now engaged. She has a core friend group of 4 people, including her, 2 guys, one of whom is her cousin, and a girl, and they have been very close since childhood. When I had first met the other 3, before we had begun dating, they seemed like nice people, fun to hang out with. But when I was reintroduced to them as her boyfriend, things were different. I knew they were judging me, which is fine. I knew there would be a friends test I would have to go through. But now, 4 years later, it still feels like I am being tested. So, for some background, my girlfriend is sweet, caring, empathetic, and sensitive. Sensitive. I just really pronounced every syllable there. Sensitive. Well, sensitive. That's how you say it, Joss. She has been hurt in past relationships. We have spoken about it briefly. She gets upset when we talk about it, so I have never pushed her much. But from what I know, while she was never physically abused, they were very toxic relationships. May have involved some emotional abuse. Considering that, I get her friends being protective. Early when we were dating and gradually became serious, her friends always found ways to, I don't know how to explain it, but show me my place in her life, if that makes sense. They would whisk her away if we were together, barge into our dates. She shared everything with them so they knew when we were going on dates and where. The only way I could get her to myself is if I planned a surprise getaway. But how many of those can you do? When I reached my saturation point, we talked. She has a blind side with them and never noticed what they were doing. After I pointed it out and she saw it happen the next time they did it, she called them out on it, threatened to stop talking to them, and after a bit of bickering, they relented and apologized to her, not me. Anyway, things got much better after that. Cut to recently. I know she's the one for me. I love her immensely. In my culture, we don't have the whole proposal with a ring. You know what? Maybe we take a quick sip of water. A little quick sip. Hop on hydration station. Drink your water. Because I am. Cheers. Clearly, I need it. In my culture, we don't have the whole proposal with a ring, but I knew she's always wanted that. I picked out a ring that belongs to my grandmother. It is part of a jewelry set. In our tradition, when we get married, the new bride is welcome to the family, with the elders presenting her with heirloom jewelry. I know my grandmother will be giving her the remaining jewelry set as a wedding present. My parents and other elders in the family will also be giving similar things. The thing is, these sets are traditional. I guess what I am trying to say is that they may be too gaudy by modern standards. My girlfriend loved the ring, even though it isn't like the more conventional engagement rings. I know all these sets she will eventually get, she won't actually wear. Probably ever. She likes to keep her style simple, but I just thought that gold is an asset even if she doesn't wear them. They are hers for any use in life. My girlfriend knows all of this. She never said anything about it. Cut to a week back. This trio came over when my girlfriend wasn't home. They said that I was being selfish, that under the garb of tradition, I was forcing my girlfriend to accept gifts she doesn't want. Mind you, we do have a bridal registry set up, and I know for a fact many family members, friends, and colleagues have already selected items from there. I told them that what my family gifts to my girlfriend isn't their business. They said that I was no different from her past partners. What? Why are they acting like you're doing some horrible thing to her? What is happening? They also said I was being emotionally abusive and gaslighting her. My girlfriend had previously asked me to make her 2 guy friends my groomsmen. My brother is my best man, and I had agreed just to make her happy. But after what they said, I told them then that they were no longer my groomsmen. When my girlfriend got back, I told her what happened. While she agrees that her friends had no right to comment on the gifts my family gave her, and she clarified that she does not share their opinion, she does feel I went too far and overreacted by removing her friends from the wedding party. She had always wanted all 3 friends to be part of the wedding, and my rejection now means that won't happen. Am I the a-hole? You come over and start calling me emotionally abusive and what? No, I don't want people like that standing next to me at the altar on my wedding day. Are you crazy? You don't support me or this marriage. You're not kind. Oh, I'm getting angry. Let me know what you guys think, but we do have some updates. This first update came a few days later. These past few days have been nothing short of a chaotic roller coaster. So much has happened in such a short time, but before I get into everything, I want to make one thing very clear. My girlfriend and I love each other deeply. She is genuinely a good person. I know that my original post may have unintentionally portrayed her in a negative light. The truth is, while she has been incredibly naive when it comes to her stooges and has often been easily manipulated by them, she's always stood up for me when it truly mattered. Her heart has always been in the right place. She did say that I overreacted when I kicked the guys out of the wedding party and that she was disappointed that all of her 3 friends wouldn't be part of the wedding. But that wasn't her her only reaction. She also agreed that her friends had no right to come to our home and insult me. They had no right to make statements on her behalf about the jewelry, especially since they were false statements. After I changed the groomsmen to my cousin and friend, she supported that decision and did not insist that I take her friends back. After the incident, she hadn't immediately reached out to the trio to talk to them about what they did. She is not a confrontational person. She's not someone who can counter-argue on the spot. So usually when she knows that there is going to be, let's say, explosive conversation, she usually likes to write down points of what she wants to say. What she would say if XYZ brought up this point, how she would respond if they said this to defend their action, kind of like that. Hi, baby. You're gonna come in here? You hate when I film. Okay. She's gonna chill in this room with me, apparently. If you know Lila, that's a first. You guys, my groomer, every time that Lila gets groomed, she makes, like, she sews just pieces of fabric and makes these little, like, bandanas, and she gives her a new one. Oh, big yawn. Gives her a new one every single time. Look how cute she is. Look how cute. Okay. Goodbye. You're done? All right. She likes being prepared, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, especially with the trio, because when such situations arise, she's usually defending me and our relationship, and it's always 3 against 1. I have tried in the past to help her, but I dislike understatement. These guys enough that if I get involved in their conversation, it just always turns into a verbal spat, and that just makes her even more stressed. Yes, she has missed several glaring red flags when it comes to her friends. But missing red flags does not automatically make someone a bad person. From her point of view, these people were the backbone of her social life. They have been in her life since childhood, and she's always seen them as supportive, protective, and caring. When you're that close to someone for that long, it can be extremely difficult to recognize toxicity. From the outside looking in, it might seem like she was being intentionally blind or refusing to accept reality, but when you're the one trapped inside of a bubble, it's a lot harder to see things clearly. We have had open conversations about the gifts before. She also told me that she had shown her friends pictures of the jewelry and talked to them about the gifts. She never once said she didn't want them or that she didn't like them. They simply assumed she wouldn't like them because they were not her usual style. But as it turned out, even that assumption was not innocent. We later found out that it was just another manipulation on their part. Edit. Number 1, we have indeed gone no contact with them, but haven't blocked their numbers yet. We will not be blocking their numbers till next weekend, just giving them more time to dig their own graves. After that, we will document the messages of posterity and then block them. Number 2, in due time, we are looking into sending cease and desist letters on the grounds of defamation and slander. It's only been 3 to 4 days and a lot has happened so fast. We need some time to just calmly think about our next steps. Okay. Why do I feel like you're withholding drama from this Reddit post? Cease and desist? What's going on? How dare you keep this from us? Obviously, it's pretty bad, right? Or are they just like preparing for the worst, that they're assuming they're going to react this way, especially like if you block them? And that went bad real fast. Real fast. Let me know your thoughts on weddings, wedding culture, wedding drama, everything. I want your opinions on everything. I'll see you guys in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.